Hey guys, welcome back to The Sports Entertainer. In this episode, we look at all the breaking wrestling news and rumors you definitely don't want to miss, with some of our top stories of the day being a former WWE star re-signs with the company, Cody Rhodes addresses turning heel in WWE, a major star has been spotted in France ahead of Backlash 2024, and so much more. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you never miss out on an episode. First up, why no main roster stars were drafted to NXT. Now we begin today's wrestling news with a bit of news regarding the 2024 WWE Draft, and more specifically the reason behind why no main roster stars were drafted or sent over to NXT, and one source, Fightful Select, reported the following on the reason for why WWE didn't have many main roster stars move to NXT, quote, "With regards to main roster names heading down to NXT, Brennan is told the reasons for no talent being officially drafted to NXT included a fear some talent would see it as a demotion, along with issues about the difference between main roster and NXT contracts in WWE. Main roster talent are expected to continue showing up in NXT in the coming months." Honestly, it makes sense why WWE didn't have any main roster stars officially drafted to NXT, because the stigma is that it is indeed a demotion, as NXT is still considered the developmental brand of WWE, but truthfully, some main roster stars could legitimately benefit from a move to NXT, with a name like Shinsuke Nakamura being an example of a pretty big main roster star who's not doing anything too noteworthy right now, who could add a ton to the NXT brand, and it wouldn't be a demotion for his career whatsoever, but let us know your thoughts on Triple H's or WWE's reasoning for not having any main roster stars officially drafted to NXT this year. Next up, Cody Rhodes addresses turning heel in WWE. Now, by all means, Cody Rhodes is being positioned in WWE as the top babyface of the company after toppling the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, one of the biggest heels in recent memory, and while Cody's doing a phenomenal job as a babyface and truly has what it takes to be the new John Cena for WWE in terms of popularity among the younger demographic and overall being a major good guy star for the company, some fans have questioned how Cody Rhodes would be as a heel. Would a heel Cody Rhodes be more interesting as undisputed champion? Some fans have expressed their feelings that they believe while Cody's a good babyface, overall his character is a bit flat and one note, and that Cody could get boring as being the undisputed champion long term, and that a heel turn could be what Cody eventually needs to keep things interesting. Now, in a recent interview with Peter Rosenberg on Rosenberg Wrestling, Cody addressed the possibility of a future heel turn in WWE, saying, quote, "I think I'm lying if I say I don't think about it. The truth is I'm so caught up in the connection that I have. Whether it's like the friendship bracelets I get at the shows or just these moments you have where the kids come in full cosplay and this new generation of fans that's gonna grow up and have podcasts and radio shows like you, this new generation, I'm so invested in them. It's rare when I think outside of, well, what about a version of me that's hated? That's disliked. That's booed, and I've certainly been booed before. I've been booed heavily. I guess I think minimally about it, and you never say never. And John Cena's never happened, and I think rightfully so. I think what we got there, we look back at now and realize I just watched him versus Umaga the other day. We see the magic of what John was able to do. But with the time I have left contract-wise, I don't see it. But again, never say never. Absolutes are the worst thing in sports entertainment and pro wrestling. Let us know if you guys feel Cody Rhodes should turn heel in WWE at some point during or after his run as the undisputed champion, or do you believe Cody should remain a babyface until his in-ring career is over? Let us know. Next up, a major star spotted ahead of WWE Backlash 2024. Now, as most of you are likely aware, the Backlash Premium Live event this year takes place in LDLC Arena in France this Saturday, and a major star has been spotted in France ahead of this weekend's Backlash show, with that said star being the 16-time world champion John Cena, which has led to speculation that perhaps John Cena could be involved with the show in some way, and the same goes for Charlotte Flair, who was also apparently spotted in France ahead of Backlash, with PW Insider reporting, quote, John Cena and Charlotte Flair are currently in France ahead of the WWE Backlash France PPV this Saturday. There is no word on what their role would be at the PPV, if any. Honestly, it seems doubtful John Cena as well as Charlotte Flair would be in France for any other reason besides them showing up or appearing at Backlash 2024 in some capacity, and by all means, both John Cena and Charlotte Flair appearing at Backlash would be great news and would help give the show this year some extra buzz, and let us know if you guys would be happy to see Cena and Flair back in WWE this Saturday, and if so, how should they be utilized at Backlash this year? Next up, who is behind the major betrayal in the Bloodline? Now, ever since Jimmy Uso was viciously kicked out of the Bloodline and replaced by new member Tama Tonga, wrestling fans have been asking the question, who's pulling the strings behind the scenes to result in these big changes to the Bloodline? Is it Solo Sikoa, or could it be the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns or the final boss The Rock? Well, wrestling personality Sam Roberts had an interesting take regarding who's actually behind all the recent chaos and changes in the Bloodline, and it's not The Rock or Roman Reigns, with Sam Roberts recently revealing his theory on the Not Sam Wrestling podcast. Quote, the MFT Tama Tonga said, by orders of the Tribal Chief after he took out Jimmy Uso, if Solo and Tama are still assuming that Roman Reigns is a part of the Bloodline, who is the Tribal Chief? Is it Solo Sikoa who is staking claim the way I read it? I think that Solo Sikoa considers himself the Tribal Chief. But at the same time, if they're expecting Roman Reigns to eventually return and be part of the Bloodline, wouldn't he still be the Tribal Chief? And then there are still others who think that The Rock, the final boss, is behind the scenes calling the shots. I think ultimately Solo will be revealed as the one who called that shot. When Roman comes back, there will be questions. I think maybe Solo thinks that Roman's gonna kind of fall in line, and Roman does not, and that's where the turn comes in. And eventually, do I think that The Rock will reveal himself as somebody who supports Solo's plan? Yes. Do I think The Rock will reveal himself as the one who's been pulling the puppet strings the entire time behind Solo Sikoa? No. Let us know if you guys believe Sam Roberts' theory that Solo Sikoa is the man behind all the changes to the Bloodline, including the betrayal of Jimmy Uso, or do you still think there's a chance it could be revealed to be The Rock or Roman Reigns responsible for all this chaos? Next up, a former WWE star re-signs with the company. Now, there has certainly been a lot of teasing of the return of Uncle Howdy or Bo Dallas, and possibly a new Wyatt family being introduced to WWE fans, and there is even more fuel that can be added to that speculation, as it was reported yesterday through PW Insider that former original Wyatt family member Eric Rowan has officially signed a new contract with the company, though there's still no word on when he'll be making his return. But honestly guys, we think it's safe to say Eric Rowan's coming back for this rumored new Wyatt family, and it's definitely great news to hear that Rowan's officially back on the WWE roster. Well guys, that's it for today's major wrestling news. Make sure you leave a like and comment, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you'll never miss out on an episode. Finally, if you haven't already, give us a follow on Twitter at TSE Wrestling, and we will see you guys in the next video.